Welcome back. Today I have a few more updates from the 2024 Chess.com Daily Chess Championship. I lost a couple of more games and I won a couple of more games, and I'm going to look at each one of them and see if I can learn from the mistakes that I made. I'm sure I made mistakes in all of them. If you're new to my channel, I'm not a titled player or a chess coach. I'm just a random middle-aged person trying to get better at chess, or really just trying not to get worse at chess. Hopefully you'll get something out of the analyses that I do in this video, and if not, maybe you'll spot something that I miss and you can help me. Let's just switch over to the other screen. This is the tournament page for my group in the second round. We started with 63,000 people in this tournament in the first round, divided into groups of 12, and now we're down to less than 4,000. Currently, I'm ranked number 7 in my group of 12, but there are quite a few games still ongoing. The first game I'm going to look at is my second loss to the top-rated player, not the player with the highest rating, but the player who currently has the most wins in this group. Every game that they've finished, they have won, except for 2 that they timed out on after quite a few moves. That's always a little interesting to me because you can't time out on these games if you're coming back to make moves in the other games. So it seems like it's an intentional timeout. Instead of just resigning, they let the time run out in those 2 games for some reason, but I also don't know everybody else's circumstance. In that game, that opponent played it with 95.8% accuracy against me. No mistakes, no blunders, no misses. That was the same in the other game that I played against this player and they beat me. And if I'm not mistaken, I didn't learn anything from that, even though I tried. Here, I only had 2 mistakes. One was after I was well behind, and the other one was right here. So I'm just going to look at that one mistake, and then I'll move on to the next game if I can't learn anything from that. According to the move list, that was on move 10. So as of move 10, we were evaluated at even. I haven't looked at the moves. I know you can see them, but I can't because I'm not looking at them. I think what I did here was take that knight, and I should have done something else. Should I have taken the knight with the bishop? Because I think what I did was take with my knight. Or should I have just castled? I don't know. Over here, it does say that I took with my knight, and that was the mistake that put me behind for good. So yeah, I'm going to guess I should have taken with the bishop. Yes, that's what it says. Or with the pawn. Would have been fine. Oh, but taking with the knight kept us within +1. Going back to this graph, okay, that said it put us over +1. And then it just got steadily worse, and my next mistake didn't come until I was already behind +2. All right. So how would it have been different if I took with the bishop? If I took with the bishop, they would have taken, and I would have taken. But then they would have taken here, and then I would have taken there. And we still would have been very close to even. It says they would have taken that pawn. Well, it's free. They might as well. And then I would castle. Okay. But how is that different than what happened? Because I took there, and they took here. And I took with the pawn, and they took with the queen, I assume. It's their best move. All right. So we're still not above +1. Okay. So I don't understand why, this is worse than the other one. But we're still between +1 and -1. So here I should have castled or played h6 or played knight to d5. Knight to d5 is over there. Okay. I assume the reason that I would do that is so the knight would protect the bishop and I would be threatening their bishop. And that's very close to h6, which is also very close to castling. That's what I played. They have a few choices that keep us right here, and they played knight to f3. Now here I can either castle or play f6 or g6. Wait, g6. Oh, g6 threatens the queen. Okay. I guess I was worried if I played g6 that they could move over and be threatening the undefended rook. It says that they wouldn't, but they might. Okay, well I played f6, which is one of my top 2 moves. Okay, so it wasn't that mistake that put me behind. The chart was a little bit misleading because I am behind here, but not so far behind that, I don't have a chance. Okay, so it was the next mistake. So way out here. Oh no, now we're over +1. Wait, how did it? Okay, I don't understand. I played f6. They played one of their best moves, but now it's +8, 0.8. Okay, here it says I need to offer a queen trade. I need to play queen to d7, and they won't take it. They'll drop back, even though they're currently up a pawn. And if they took there, it would force my king out. So I should have played queen to d7. I don't think I would consider that because again, I'm down a pawn, and if they did take, and I would have my queen out. I mean, my king out there in the middle, not even over here, which is probably where I would want it if I can't castle. Okay, I don't understand that, but I castled, which brought us to 0.95, okay. And then they castled, which was one of their better moves. Actually, it says it's +1 if they play c4, but they castled, which seems like a principled move. Okay. Again, my best move is to offer the queen trade, which this time it says that they would take it and I would take back with my rook and have a rook on c8. And then they would play c4 and I would have to put my knight someplace, probably back here on c7. Okay, but I played my second best move, which was challenging the queen with the g-pawn. But that made the rating slowly climb up. We're almost at +1 now. If they play queen to c2, they did play queen to c2. Looks like there's only 2 ways to keep it under +1, and that's queen to d7 and b5. Okay, I probably did consider b5, but and it says they just would have left it there. They would not have taken, if I had played b5, they just would have played h3. And if I had played queen to d7, they would have played c4. Okay, but I played my third best move, which was putting a rook on an open file. It's the only completely open file on the board, and I thought that's what you're supposed to do, but that puts us up right at almost +1. If they play a5, which they did. Again, I need to play queen to d7. I have no idea why. Or queen to c8. I have no idea why. Again. Or bishop to f8. I don't know what bishop to f8 would do. Or rook to b8. I don't know what that would do. Or queen to d6. I don't know what that would do. I put my bishop this way on d6, which doesn't say was a mistake, but it puts us up a little bit higher. So we're at +1.3 now. 1.2. Okay. If they play queen to b3 or c4, they played c4, so I have to drop my knight back. But I had to put it back here, and I still would have been behind +1. All right, well, if any of you understand why either knight to b4, which, you know, why that's a mistake, or taking with the knight instead of the bishop back here in this situation, feel free to let me know in the comments. But as usual, when my opponent doesn't make any mistakes, I don't learn anything. It's never happened. Maybe once. I can't remember for sure, but I don't think it's ever happened. All right, let me look at the next one. Okay, this game was against a 1700 rated player, almost 1800 rated player, and I've never beaten anyone rated that high in any time control. They did make some mistakes, however, but it looks like their mistakes were after they were already ahead. This one brought us back to even, so I had another shot there, but I had a miss. So it looks like I was very slightly ahead, but a blunder put us back to even, then a mistake gave my opponent an advantage, and then a miss didn't take advantage of their mistake. So 1, 2, 3 spots there that I need to look at. Maybe I had a shot, maybe I'll understand something here. So I'm going to look at my first blunder, my first mistake, and then my miss. My first blunder came on move 17, apparently. Here, again, I left the lines on, but I'm not looking at them. I don't know what I should have played. I also can't remember what I did play. Can I look at the... Okay, I did play e3. I think I played e3 because I wanted to drop this bishop back, but they currently had 2 pieces defending d4. But I'm not sure. Should I have played rook to e8? No. I'm only supposed to, okay, this is what I've learned from looking at games with Stockfish, is that I'm only supposed to play e8 when I can't think of it. 100% of the time, it said I should have played rook e8 when that's not the move that I think of. And 100% of the time, when I think, oh, maybe now is e8, it's never right. Okay, should have played b5 or e4. Oh, wait, it says they would have pushed past, and then I would have played b4. Well, of course they would have pushed past, because then they would have 3 pieces defending that pawn there. On d4. Should have played b5, and the engine thinks that they would have dropped their knight back here. But why wouldn't they have put it over here? I don't know. And if I did play b5 and they dropped their knight back, sorry, not there, dropped their knight back to where it said that they would on d8, then I would play e4. Okay, well, I wasn't going to find e4 here because I don't know why that's a good move. I understand b5 because it takes initiative a little bit. It pressures their piece to move. I guess I understand that. And then I probably would have played a4 at that point to lock those pawns in place. But then my bishop's not defended, and I would have expected them to play b6, and then I'd have to drop my bishop back, maybe back here, I don't know. But I don't understand e4 at all. Okay, but that was bad because they can play bishop to b2. Is that what they played? Oh, I see. Okay, because they get that pawn. Okay, and they couldn't have done that if I had played e4? It does say that they could have done that. But if they had, I wouldn't move my rook. If they had played here, it says I need to take this pawn, and they wouldn't take my rook. They would take back. Well, all right. That's why my opponent's rated 1700 and I'm rated 1300, because I don't understand that at all. And I don't think it would have been an inaccuracy because it was one of their better moves. All right. There was a place later where my opponent made a mistake and brought the game back to even, and I had to take this pawn. That's my only move. And again, if I take it, it says they would take back. They wouldn't take the free bishop. What I did was take the bishop, and that's a miss because, and that's how I lost. So if any of you understand that, let me know. I don't understand that at all. Fortunately, the next 2 games I'm going to look at, I won. So hopefully maybe there'll be something there that I can learn from. All right, in this game, it says I played with 93% accuracy, so sometimes I can play really well. I did have a miss, but no inaccuracies, no mistakes, no blunders, and my miss was after I was ahead. It just wasn't my best move at the time, but it did leave me ahead. In this one, it says I played like a 1950. I doubt that. I think this ratings estimator might be off just a little bit, but I'm going to guess that when that big miss there, that was my opponent making some really obvious mistake. So let's go on down. Wow, this time we went to move 18 before anybody messed up. That's pretty impressive. Okay, so I had just played rook to e1. Wait, was that my best move? Did I play rook to e1 at the right time? No, it wasn't my best move. Rook to d1 was my best move. But rook to e1 was close. So yeah, it would have been a lot better for me if I had just played rook to d1. But I played rook to e1 because I don't know where rooks go, apparently. But we were even here. I played this, which made us even more even than we were before. My opponent had at least 5 moves that would keep them even, but they played rook to e8. Okay, so that makes me feel better. I haven't even looked at what I'm supposed to have played or what I did play. I just saw that they played rook to e8 and it was a blunder. So what that tells me is that I'm not the only one that doesn't understand when to move the rook to the e-file after castling. This was a huge problem because of, what says I played bishop to c6. That's c6. Okay, but that wasn't my best move apparently because it was counted as a miss. So what should I have played? I thought it was a great move because look at that. That's a fork of those 2 rooks. But my best move was queen to c6. Really? Yeah, I didn't know that my opponent had blundered here. I just saw that, after looking around and exploring the board, I thought, hey, I can fork those 2 rooks, and whichever one of them they move, I'll be able to get the other one. That's what it seemed like to me. But instead, I was supposed to put my queen there, which allows them to... Oh, wait, is it because of this? Because the queen's not forking that rook down there on the 8th rank. I'm not going to throw my queen away for that rook. But is it because these 2 pieces? Is that what it is? I'm at +3 if I put my queen here. Oh, and it says they're just going to play bishop to d3. Nope, they're going to play bishop to a2. Oh, they're going to aim at my rook. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and take their rook. They're going to take my rook. Wait, then how is that better? Oh, because I get their bishop too. Okay, I would play queen to b3 check. When their king moved over, then I would take their bishop as well. Maybe? Okay, but this was counted as a miss. And the engine says that's a miss because my opponent can put this rook on a8, and I'll take it with my queen. Oh, I would take it with my queen because my bishop's here. So when they took back, I would get their queen too, and then they would get my bishop. So I would have picked up a rook and a queen for a bishop and a queen. Why would I do that? No, I think if they had played that, I would have just taken their rook here and just given up a bishop for a rook. Okay, well, I don't understand why that's a miss for sure. Because it looks like either way, I'm getting a rook for a bishop. But they played that. Well, I thought that was a pretty slick move because it doesn't allow me to take either one of the rooks because I have to move my queen now. But I did see a good place to get my queen out of check, which was queen to b3. Oh, that was a great move. All right, I like great moves. I'm surprised it says -5. They have to get out of check. And wait, oh, the engine says their best move is to just get out of check this way. Well, I thought they did a pretty decent thing by putting their rook in the way until I realized I can push this pawn. Was that my best move? Oh, okay. Yeah, but this apparently wasn't a blunder. Like I said, down there earlier, I wasn't sure if that was a blunder or a mistake. I know sometimes you can sacrifice a rook for a bishop, but this I was pretty sure was a blunder, but it's not. It says the game review thought it was their best move. I thought this is where my opponent messed up because I can challenge it with the pawn. So they moved their king out of the pin, and then I get the rook with the pawn. And I was ahead ever since. Just a little bit later, I think my opponent made a similar mistake, if this is the game that I remember, because after I challenged that bishop and they ran away with it, I put my rook here to challenge their queen, and they blocked with that bishop, but then I can just push a pawn here. So that was twice that I got to use a pawn to attack a pinned piece, and my opponent resigned here. Interestingly, the game review said that that was their best move in this situation, and earlier it said moving that rook there was the best move. I thought those were their 2 blunders. So again, I'm glad I won, but again, obviously I don't understand chess. So yeah, this was a 1463 rated opponent. I have beaten opponents in the 1400s before, but not very often. Otherwise, I wouldn't be rated 1300. All right, maybe this will be the game where I'll learn something. It does say I have 2 mistakes, but I still played with pretty high accuracy. Oh, and it looks like I had a little bit of an advantage here and here, but then we were even for a long time, but then my opponent blundered right there, just a few moves before the end. Okay, well, let's do our best and try to figure out what happened over here someplace. All right, here after move 13, the engine thinks I have a very slight advantage of 0.82, but the game review thought I had a -2 advantage. So what should I have done? Oh, good grief. The game review says I should take this knight with my queen to maintain this advantage. And it says what they would do then is just get this knight out. I don't think that's what would happen. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if I took this with my queen, lined up with that rook, they would almost immediately take this bishop. So the rook would be hitting my queen, and I would have to move my queen. I don't know where, but let's say I just put it back here on d6. Then they would bring their bishop back, and we would have just traded this knight for my bishop, and my bishop's in a good spot. So yeah, I don't believe that at all. But let's just say I did that. Yep, it says they would take my bishop. I knew it. Okay, well, it jumped around a little bit, but it still says I would have an advantage. Okay, how? So now I have to... Oh, I get that rook. Okay, I do understand. I did learn something. Backing up. I don't know why it said that that was their best move if I can just take it. That's the thing, is I'm threatening both rooks. And because of that, I'm getting the knight for free, because if they take my bishop, I get the rook. Wait, but then it says they would bring their bishop back here, pointed at mine, protected by their queen, and then what would I do? I would have to slide up one. Oh, that looks pretty scary. It looks pretty scary either way. But I understand this one. I think I understand this one because I did not see that I was aiming at that rook as well as being aimed at by their e-file rook. Got it. Okay, but what I did instead was take here, and that's a mistake that lost all my advantage, but only if they take this bishop, which they did, and then I took back. Okay, so we're even. All right, well, here we are on move 22, where again, I have a very slight advantage, getting close to -1, and I already looked at the lines because I forgot to turn it off. It says I should have played e4, but instead I played d4. All right, well, I stared at that a long time, and I can't tell why one's better than the other one. I do understand that this one has a pawn in front of it, but then I have a pawn that's going to take there, and if they take my rook, I'm going to have my rook on an open file, and also that knight's hanging. That's the reason that I played d4, is because that knight's hanging. And then I thought I could push past. So yeah, I have no idea why that's a mistake and why it takes us back to even. My opponent did play their best move, and I played my best move, which is, to open up these rooks. It was apparently a great move for them to take that one, even though it was very obvious and expected, and I took back. But I don't understand why I was ahead before that and now I'm not. Like, if anything, we should have been even before that and after that, or I was ahead before that and after that. I don't understand what the difference is. Looks like we played a bunch more moves without any mistakes until way over here on move 33, when my opponent did that. Wait, that was their blunder? I didn't think that was their blunder. I thought their blunder was on move 37 when they hung their queen. Okay, but that was their blunder apparently, and I've been ahead ever since. Okay, well, I thought it made sense to take that with check, and then they took it back. I don't know why that's inaccurate. I don't know why I'm ahead. Oh, I'm ahead because I can check here and win their rook, but I didn't see that. Wow, it made in 17. So I should have checked on d2, and then I would have won their rook, apparently. But instead, I took their passed pawn, which was, only a few squares from promotion. That was a big no-no. My opponent checked me, and I got out of check, and this is where I thought they lost the game. I did not know I was ahead this whole time, but then my opponent hung their queen, and I took it. They played one more move, and I took that too, and then they resigned. I did expect from the beginning to win this game because the opponent was rated 10-10, and, you usually beat people who are rated lower than you, but I don't know what their profile says they are in other time controls. Okay, I just checked. Apparently they're rated lower than me in other time controls too. But yeah, so I had no idea that pawn move was the blunder. I thought hanging the queen was the blunder. But I did understand that last mistake. I don't understand that other stuff, but I do understand, not my mistake, but my inaccuracy. This one I do understand, that I should have not taken this pawn. I should have checked them and taken their rook. That would have made a lot more sense. Okay, I got that one. Okay, well, I still have several more games ongoing in this tournament, but almost all of them are against opponents rated higher than me. And I think in at least one of the ones against an opponent rated lower than me, I'm pretty sure I'm losing right now. But I'm often, mystified as to whether I'm winning or losing. We see that during the evaluations. I thought I was ahead, but I was behind, or I thought I was behind, then I was ahead. So I have no idea. I'm going to play every one of these out to the end. Even though I don't always do that in daily chess or rapid chess or anything else, in these tournaments, I always play every game to the end as a matter of strategy, because so many opponents will play a game out. It's happened to me multiple times where I've played a daily game out until my opponent had mate in one, and then they just never played it and timed out, and I won that game. So even though now, I don't think, even if I won out and that number one rated player lost all the rest of their games, I don't think I can advance to the next round. I think that's already a foregone conclusion. I'm going to get as many wins as I can. And even though it was pretty much a failure trying to learn something today, I am going to try to learn something from every one of those games. Thank you for spending your time here, and I'll see you next time.